Let's take a peek, shall we, Lord Beerus?
Let's go already! The Saiyans are a true warrior race! Don't underestimate us! Okie dokie, Vegeta! I hope you're ready, because now you're gonna get it! We are... the Ginyu Force! Recoome! I'm far from done! Hi! Alrighty, the kid clubs are off now, buddy boy. You still breathing? I'm very upset by this. You're gonna pay for this! Garlic gun! The Saiyans are a true warrior race! Don't underestimate us! I'm very upset by this. I'm the strongest fighter in the universe! Garlic gun! You're through! Hey, little guy. You got any attacks with a little more oomph to him? Because if not, you are so dead. Giant freak! Time to die now! Nice try! That's it! Kim? Erase again! Hey! Eyes up! You're dealing with me now!
Don't kid yourself! What makes you think you can take me now, Vegeta?
Because with each battle, I'm getting closer and closer to becoming a Super Saiyan!
Oh, come off it with your fairy tales!
I really must hand it to you. In all my years, I've never been so angry as I am now.
Now you'll pay! You vile, filth-sucking maggots will rue the day you cross my path! Prepare yourselves to embrace oblivion!
Go on then. Do your worst. But if you think this is going to be easy, then you're dead wrong! You haven't a clue. I'm becoming a thing you fear most. The legendary Super Saiyan!
Do you really expect me to take such desperate boasts at face value?
I've heard enough of your pathetic lie!
Now get ready! You little wretch! Consider yourself lucky I didn't incinerate you! The rest of you stay back! Just keep your eyes peeled and enjoy the show.
Someone's full of confidence. You poor fool. The helplessness of your situation has made you delusional.
I doubt you'll be so smug once you realize what you're up against. What stands before you now is the thing you fear most. I am a Super Saiyan! There won't be a shred of you left when Kakarot wakes up!
I think I'll toy with you a bit.
It's time for sudden death!
Why don't we finish with the rehearsal and commence with the...
Gallic Gun! The Saiyans are a true warrior race! Don't underestimate us!
Don't bother!
There.
Gallic Gun! You're through! Eat this!
There.
Kill you! Die! I'm afraid you're fired. I'm the strongest fighter in the universe! Damn you!
So sorry to dash all your hopes and dreams, Vegeta. But for all your efforts, you never even came close to being on my level.
Die! I'm afraid you're fired. You aren't gonna want to hold anything back, Frieza. Not against this one. You see, he is what you fear more than anything else in the universe. You're dealing with the real Super Saiyan.
Oh, Vegeta, you forget. I don't enjoy jokes, and you've never been very funny.
You murderer! He couldn't even defend himself!
Kakarot, I need you to know what happened to planet Vegeta, where we were born. It's gone. Not because it collided with a giant meteor. It was Frieza who did it. We served him blindly for years, and he disposed of our entire race, wiped us from existence. I'm begging you, please, beat him. For me, for the pride of our race, you must defeat him, please. He must die by a Saiyan's hand. No matter the opponent, I never lose. With my anger at its peak, it happened. Finally, I had become a Super Saiyan! You say you androids don't feel pain? You're very lucky. Crap! Not...
No escape!
That's it! I have become the Prince of all Saiyans once!
Do not bother, it is futile!
Eat this! Regret this! I'm not playing around! I have become the Prince of all Saiyans once again! I'm not playing around!
The wrong value must have been input. Do not bother, it is futile. Do not bother, it is futile.
say you androids don't feel pain? You're very lucky. This is the end for you!
Do not bother, it is futile.
Feast your eyes on Super Vegeta's Big Bang Attack! This is the end for you! Take this! Feast your eyes on Super Vegeta's Big Bang Attack! This is the end for you! Take this! Feast your eyes on Super Vegeta's Big Bang Attack! Cursed robot! He escaped away faster than I thought! Well, well, not the sort of place I expected to find you three. But it'll have to do. Your leaving all of a sudden got me curious, I'll admit. Where is your destination?
Goku's house, wherever it is. To kill him.
Just as I thought. But you're never going to get there. Because I, Vegeta, shall crush you here and now!
Hey guys, Vegeta seems to be pretty cocky, doesn't he? It must be a Saiyan thing. They always talk such a big talk, and then they end up dying so fast. It's a shame.
You shut your mouth, you disrespectful toy! I'll rip all three of you to pieces. Who's first?
Let's play. Just you and me.
You'll regret this! Eat this!
Nice try.
Damn puppet! I can't even tell if she's taking any damage or not.
Eat this!
Take this! Feast your eyes on Super Vegeta's Big Bang Attack! I have become the Prince of all Saiyans once again! Eat this!
Nice try. Quit running.
Now, watch closely, Cell, because I'm about to wipe that disgusting smirk off that face of yours!
You're not Vegeta. You're not. You've changed. You've become something else.
That's right. I am Super Vegeta. Take this! Let me show you.
Taste the power.
This is the end for you! Let's see if you can withstand this! Final Blast!
We're so close. A few more moments, and I would have achieved my perfect form.
Now hold on. Do you actually believe this perfect form of yours can make the slightest bit of difference against me?
I know it would. I would have the ultimate power. You wouldn't even stand a chance against me.
Final Blast! All right then. I'll allow myself to be goaded into your trap. Go on, obtain your so-called perfect form. Father, no! Stand aside, boy! Super Vegeta! Eat this! Let's see if you can withstand this! Final Blast!
We're so close. A few more moments, and I would have achieved my perfect form.
Now hold on. Do you actually believe this perfect form of yours could make the slightest bit of difference against me?
I know it would. I would have the ultimate power. You wouldn't even stand a chance against me.
All right, then. I'll allow myself to be goaded into your trap. Go on, obtain your so-called perfect form.
Father, no!
Stand aside, boy! I am Superlord! Back off! Let's see if you can withstand this! Final blast! What the? I lost This is the end for you! Get back off! Be gone!
Hey! You've been spotted! Run for it now! You're making a mistake, Father. We can't let Cell reach his perfect form. I've already seen one future ruined. I'm not gonna stand here and watch it happen again. I'm putting an end to this, even if that means I have to go through you.
Is that so? Who are you trying to fool? You're too soft-hearted to attack your own father. So, he actually did it. Cell really is transforming. Now we'll see if this perfect form of his is everything he made it out to be. So this is what you wanted to achieve so desperately? Perfectly ordinary is more like it. Did swatting that little pest make you feel all big and strong? I hope so, because that was the last taste of victory you're ever going to enjoy.
I suppose we'll see about that. But for now, I wonder if you would be so good as to assist me in warming up.
Sure. Just know I'll be turning up the heat rather quickly.
I'm terrified. Too slow. Inside. You fool! Inside. I commend you. You've backed me into a corner, forcing me to use a barrier. You fool!
Take this! Oh, yeah. Super Vegeta!
Forget it.
Let me show you! Too slow! This is the end for you! The way this is going, I have no other choice but to use my final flash. Cell! You have mocked me for the last time! Do you truly believe your power is far superior to mine? Here! If you have the guts to put it to the test, let's see if you're strong enough to withstand this! Oh yeah, Super Vegeta! Let's see if you can withstand this! Final Flash!
You fool! Forget it. Nice work.
This is the end for you! Let's see if you can withstand this! Final Flash! Well, that certainly left a mark, didn't it? Serves you right! No matter the opponent, I never lose. Okay. If you can punch me in the face, I promise I'll take you to that amusement park you're always going on about.
Really? You mean it? Here I come!
Now let's just see what you can do. He may be a Super Saiyan, but he's still a child. No way in hell I'm letting myself get hit.
You're mine!
Take this! Son of a...
Wow, Dad! I can't even lay a finger on you! But I'm not giving up that easy! You're taking me to that amusement park! Come on!
All right, that's enough for today.
was amazing, Dad! You've got to be the strongest guy in the whole world!
Naturally. Even through my greatest hardships, I've never let up on my training for a single moment.
Yeah! I can't wait to watch you dominate at the World Martial Arts Tournament. But I still wanted to go to the amusement park.
Dry your tears. I'll take you to the park, okay?
Aw, yeah!
But you're going to keep on assisting in my training, while maintaining your Super Saiyan form, of course.
Aw, man. And I was gonna hang with Goten later. This sucks.
Submit your mind and body to me!
Oh no! Vegeta! Don't let that creep control your mind! Vegeta!
Babadi's casting his spell on him.
Come on, Vegeta! Stay with us!
Silence, all of you! Just who the hell do you think I am? You fool! You're dealing with the proud prince of all Saiyans! And you actually believed you could control me?!
What?
He broke Babadi's mind control with his own will.
The only thing I care about is fighting you, Kakarot! Now show me the results of your training in the afterlife! Right now! And I'll demonstrate how much I've outclassed you! I bridged the gap to meet your natural talent! And after all these years, I'll prove I'm the strongest of all by beating you in one last decisive battle! That is my goal! My sole purpose to fight!
You keep on surprising me. After what just happened, I can tell how much you want to settle the score. All right. Let's you and me finish this once and for all.
Hold everything. Nobody denies becoming my servant. That's it. Now you all die. Deborah.
Yes, sir.
And for insulting my pride, I'm going to crush you all and throw you into the wind! You're a fool to think you could control me!
Make him suffer. Siphon his power from you before you end.
As you wish, Master.
Eat this! That's it! This is the end. Eat this.
He's far stronger than we presumed. No enemy has ever been an actual threat to me. And yet,
You're starting to sweat, demon? Have you been taking this seriously or not? This is the end for you!
foolish.
I can see you! You were a fool to think you could control me!
Make him suffer, and then siphon his power from Boo before you end him.
As you wish, Master.
Be gone!
You're mine! You're mine! Got you! You're mine!
This is the end for you! Big Bang Attack! This is the end for you!
He's far stronger than we presumed. No enemy has ever been an actual threat to me. And yet,
You're starting to sweat, demon? Have you been taking this seriously or not? Final Blast! Be gone! For trying to make a prince serve the likes of you. It's off with your heads!
Curses! Now I can't siphon any power, and Dabura has bit the dust! Ah! Martin Boo won't be revived if I'm slain. Time to make a hasty retreat!
Oh, so you think you can just run away after humiliating me? It's over for you!
Enough already! Get away from me!
Be gone!
Can't touch me!
I sentence you to death!
No! No! Help me!
It's done! Majin Buu's container is and with Dabura gone, everyone who was turned to stone should be back to normal. What a relief.
I am eternally grateful to all of you. And Vegeta, your sheer force of will ensured the safety of the universe.
Save it. Protecting the peace is of no interest to me. All I did was push aside another fool standing in my way. That said, how much time is left?
Oh, right. We gotta get back to the stadium quick, before the tournament's all over.
The tournament is inconsequential. You and I are going to fight before this day is done, Kakarot.
Sorry for the long wait.
It'll be worth it. And now I'm going full force, Kakarot!
Whoa, hold up, Vegeta! If we go 100%, we might cause more than a couple of problems.
How so?
Like, if I were to use a Kamehameha or go Super Saiyan here, the whole town would be destroyed. Remember, our friends and family are here too.
Beat him, Dad!
Go for it, Vegeta!
Very well. Then this shall be a battle of raw strength alone.
Gotcha.
For so long, my only ambition has been to defeat you. This is it, Kakarot. Today I will prove who's the strongest Saiyan warrior of all. My goal was out of reach when you left this world behind. But my training never ceased. I was convinced the day would come when we'd face off again, Kakarot. And with it, my victory would be in hand.
Yeah!
This is the end for you! Can you keep up with this? Come now, Kakarot! I know you can do better than this!
You've gotten amazingly powerful while I've been gone. In fact, I don't think I've been this excited for a fight in who knows how long!
I will surpass you! You're mine! Can you keep up with this? This is the end, Kakarot! Kakarot! Vegeta!
Contestant Goku has been defeated! Therefore, the winner is Vegeta! You got me! You got me! You're the strongest I've ever seen, Vegeta! And you earned this win.
This concludes the World Martial Arts Tournament exhibition match. Please applaud the marvelous efforts of our two fighters.
You were still hiding even more power?
A little, but in terms of pure fighting ability, you've totally surpassed me. I got a lot of training to do in Otherworld. Hey, you know what? You should come hang in Otherworld too, Vegeta! There are strong fighters everywhere you look, and you can train as much as you want!
Are you stupid? I have no intention of dying yet. I swear you never stop aggravating me. But you better not let up on your training, Kakarot. Unless you want to lose to me again.
Win or lose, you never change, do you? Well, goodbye, Vegeta. Next time we fight, it'll have to be in the afterlife.
And I'll win then too. For I am #1. No matter the opponent, I never lose.
Bobity's using the evil in your heart to control you. Clear your mind. Remove all thoughts from your head.
Shut your mouth! You know nothing!
Yes, now you belong to me! Now that you're under my control, I shall push your power past its limits!
Babidi! Move us to some place where there's no one else around! I'll give Vegeta the fight he wants, but not here!
Let's go! It'll be over soon enough when I kill you!
You know, it's pretty amazing. While I've been in Otherworld, I've done nothing but train. And yet here we are now. You and I are evenly matched.
What does it matter? Your inborn talents have still placed you out of my reach. Even after all these years, that remains the same. I wanted to go back to the cold-blooded Saiyan I'd been in the beginning. The one who didn't care about anything but besting you in one-on-one combat! But surrendering to Babidi's magic was a price I was willing to pay if it meant I could be my old self again. And as a result, I've never felt better.
That isn't true, and you know it, Vegeta. I was hoping for better.
Stay out of my way! Stay out of my way! Eat this!
Damn it! Vegeta, wait! Do you feel that? That huge energy? Majin Buu. He must have finally been revived!
So, is that pink blob with the cape Majin Buu? Well then, you're going to pay for what you did to Kakarot's son!
Pink blob? What's that?
It just means you're big and ugly.
That made Boo angry! So Boo make you dead!
I'm not going to hell alone! I'm taking you along for the ride! You are not going to lay a finger on my family!
I knew...
Even I'm impressed, Vegeta. Of course I'm the strongest.
After 17 long years, the Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi series is finally back with the newest entry of Sparking Zero. Yes, the day is finally here. Of course, that's if you pre-order it. But nevertheless, Sparking Zero is finally here. I can't believe it, and this game is so great. Matter of fact, the very first thing I had to do is to kind of get my feet wet, is hop online, and actually end up streaming for a bit where we made... No, a bunch of... Oh no, I'm dead! Yo! Well played! Oh, wait, no, that's not his ultimate. I'll beat you in 5 seconds.
Alright, so remember when Dragon Ball Super melted like 5 seconds into its first major fight? And then it just kept getting worse and worse? And even when it eventually picked itself up again, it still couldn't help but keep, stumbling. Well, that's because Dragon Ball Super had one of the most soul-crushing schedules in all of anime, with almost no pre-production and proper lead-in time. It's crazy to think that one of the most popular series in the world was held together with a string and a prayer. The fact it was a resounding financial success in spite of all of that is honestly a testament to the power of Dragon Ball more than anything. But Toei has changed. The terrifying cat has turned over a new leaf as of late, with a whole new building, a full internal restructuring, and a very different philosophical approach to production. The once meme-tier animation studio has been releasing some serious bangers since Super finished, and with a whole new Toriyama adventure on the horizon, it looks like we're about to finally get our own taste of television greatness. And so, here's everything you need to know about Dragon Ball Daima.
It's your turn to be destroyed!
Did you know that this is reportedly the most Akira Toriyama has ever been involved in a Dragon Ball show's production? And I do mean ever. Dragon Ball Daima began its life as a totally original Toei series back in 2021, but then when Toriyama was asked to provide some advice for the project, he ended up diving in head first, leading to him not only overhauling the story completely, but additionally created and designed, well, almost everything you'll see in the show. Different worlds, characters, vehicles, mechs. There are an insane number of handcrafted Toriyama designs driving this new show. Animators on this upcoming series have even mentioned his unprecedented involvement on the animation side of things, checking over and correcting visuals, ensuring layouts match his vision, the full works. Now, of course, tragically, Akira Toriyama passed away this year, which has led many to wonder about the fate of Daima itself. Was his work finished? What now? But this actually allows an opportunity to touch on one of the most spectacular parts of this show's existence: its insanely generous production schedule. After toying with the show for a while in 2021 through pre-production, the team at Toei created a pilot in early 2022 as a sort of proof of concept for Shueisha and Toriyama, with it being the very first time a Dragon Ball anime has tried to present Toriyama's modern art style to the world. At this point in the production, the actual plotline of the show was already largely mapped out, all in an effort to test this bold new direction, as well as ensuring that the sense of wonder, adventure, and breathtaking new lore was present throughout. As Toriyama himself said on Daima, quote, "It will be a mix of different things, and not just intense action." Now, I love action as much as the next guy, and given that this is a Dragon Ball series, it will have a wide assortment of combat, no doubt. But for me, Dragon Ball has always been more than a simple one-trick pony. The elements of magic, hilarity, heart, and adventure are not just parts of the story's history, they are the very foundations to its success. And with this series fundamentally being a celebration of the series for its 40th anniversary, we have a lot to look forward to. And if our sources are correct, that means we have one hell of an adventure to the Demon Realm, coupled with an oppressed nation, Majin shenanigans, and all kinds of creepy Kaioshin plotting. And, well, once the feeling was right and the plot finalized, they were granted a green light from the powers that be, and thus began assembling an incredibly skilled team tasked with bringing this story to the world. And this is where it gets really interesting. If you cast your minds back, you might remember that back in the day of Dragon Ball Z, you'd have some episodes that looked beyond terrible and others that were basically straight up the peakest shit you've ever seen in your life. One of the all-time GOATs from back then, delivering so much of that very good stuff, was a guy called Katsuyoshi Nakatsuru. This dude was next level insane and so amazing at emulating Toriyama's style that not only do fans mix up their work constantly, even to this very day, but Toriyama himself kept confusing his own work for his. Nakatsuru wasn't just one of the greats in Dragon Ball Z though. By the time the Buu arc rolled around, he had risen to the role of character designer. And if you're like me and notice a difference in how Dragon Ball Z was drawn between Cell and Buu, well, that slight shift in visual design is thanks in large part to none other than Nakatsuru himself. Even as Toriyama's style started to evolve over the years, Nakatsuru continued to evolve with him. The pair's styles are inseparably intertwined, and yet, in spite of this, Nakatsuru's involvement on Dragon Ball has been pretty low-key over the past 2 decades, only animating a few short, rather inconsequential scenes here and there. But now, with Daima, Nakatsuru is not only back, but he is back once again as character designer. That means translating Toriyama's design work into animation-friendly versions, complete with full expression sheets, posing suggestions, the works, right? And based on the very little we've seen of the show so far, it truly does look like Toriyama's art come to life. And what better way to honor what may very well be his final contributions than in such a perfectly faithful manner? But of course, one man can't define the look of a show alone. Everyone draws a little bit different, animators aren't all the same level, and that's why animation directors exist to redraw stuff and keep things looking great all the time. Over the course of modern Dragon Ball, there have been several big names that even people not interested in animation know. During Super's TV run, it was Yuya Takahashi, the man who showed up big time in the Tournament of Power and wowed everyone, and I do mean everyone, with his old school artwork and spectacular animation. With Dragon Ball Super Broly, it was Naohiro Shintani, whose design work completely overhauled the look of the series and reinvigorated it with fun and loose energy that had been sorely missing. And with Dragon Ball Super Superhero, its design work and spectacular 2D opening brought in One Punch Man icon Chikashi Kubota, who seriously turned heads with his insanely polished sequences. Now, if I told you that they were all chief animation directors on Daima, it would probably sound like a list some fan might have cooked up as a dream scenario. And yet, this is the actual reality of it! Along with several other talented people like Super's Miyako Tsuji and Dragon Ball veteran Takeo Ide, Daima is sporting an indescribably powerful top-level animation squad. But ultimately, what is really setting up this show for success is that production schedule I mentioned earlier. If you're not aware, most TV anime only have a short string of episodes finished by the time it hits the airwaves, and after that it sort of becomes a game of churning out episodes at a fast enough clip to stay ahead of the air dates. It's a pretty stressful situation and one that has led to many an episode only being just finished maybe 24 hours before it's due. Or in some of the worst case scenarios, such as Jujutsu Kaisen's 17th episode in Season 2, it aired totally incomplete, instead forcing editors to try and edit around the continuity gaps for it to make some sort of sense, with it finally being finished only for the Blu-ray release months later. This lack of proper production time is ultimately what caused the mess that was Dragon Ball Super in the first place. The show started airing with almost no buffer at all. Seriously, commencing with less than a handful of episodes close to completion. Some of those weren't even done yet. And so the entire staff spent the next, well, I don't know, 3 to 4 arcs desperately trying to keep their heads above water, trying to put out episodes in time for release, with them in the end only really ever managing to reclaim a little bit of a buffer once they devised a large string of low-demand slice-of-life episodes before the Tournament of Power. Daima's a different story. Daima has been in full-force animation mode since mid to late 2022. And by the time it hits the air at the end of 2024, it will have had over 2 years of full pre-prepped animation. And based on our sources, it's already got over 16 episodes in the bag, which is just completely unheard of. I mean, that's the same level of pre-production something like Mob Psycho gets. Now think about that, right? If the show has 20 episodes fully completed by the time it starts airing, it would have a buffer of roughly 5 months if the show were airing weekly. This is well over double what most shows are allotted. To put it simply, not only does Daima have the best chefs, but those chefs, they have time to cook.
Holy fucking shit.
But okay, I hear you, right? What about the writing? Why should I care about this thing? Super gained an insane amount of popularity, and with its manga now several arcs ahead of the anime's ending, a lot of folks were hoping for a continuation. The marketing so far has definitely been, well, pretty nothing. We saw some creepy looking dudes, some kid characters, and Goku beating people up. The animation is cool for sure, but let's be real, all the most exciting stuff is coming from insiders dropping hints about what the plot and tone really is. What we can know for sure, however, is who's actually heading up the writing for this thing. If you're not aware, TV anime have something called a series composer, which confusingly has nothing to do with music and is somewhat similar to the kind of showrunner roles you see in Western properties, but much more hands-off creatively, if that makes any sense. Game of Thrones' TV series, of course, spawned from George R.R. Martin's A Song of Ice and Fire series, but it's David Benioff and D.B. Weiss who crafted that into each 10-episode season, until it exploded in a whirlwind of disappointment upon its conclusion. But my feelings of Dumb and Dumber's self-sabotage aside, showrunners typically don't write every single episode. There are other script writers, and instead they exist to consult and guide those other folk along the way, making sure the story, tone, character arcs, etc. all come together and remain consistent. In Dragon Ball Super, for example, a guy called Atsuhiro Tomiyaka took Akira Toriyama's outline for the Tournament of Power arc, expanded it, and then mapped out how that would play out across its 54 episodes. But the episodes themselves were written by him and 8 other people. The individual dialogue, the way characters are characterized, that's all formed from those writers. Of course, Super schedule meant any real attempt at consistency in characterization between episodes went right out the window, but hey, that's how it works on paper, okay? Don't blame the messenger. Daima's writing is being led by a woman called Yuko Kakihara. She's worked all over the industry for many, many years, and I think maybe her most beloved writing comes from Kids on the Slope, a series from Cowboy Bebop director Shinichiro Watanabe. When it comes to writing for old existing properties, she's also the lead on the Urusei Yatsura reboot and the Digimon Tri movie series. To my shame, I've not seen any of these, so I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on her work in the comment section down below. My team tells me Kids on the Slope is incredible and the Yatsura reboot is super faithful and fun, but I do know that Digimon was pretty divisive, or at least I think I do. For me at least, I'm actually not super worried about her position, as we've all heard Toriyama was so involved with the production of this show that it seems pretty explicit he would have overseen the scripts too. I mean, he spent so much time overhauling it and writing lore for it, it's hard to imagine this wouldn't have been the case. Unlike Super, a series he famously complained about in the Dragon Ball 30th anniversary book. Yikes. From the many interviews Toyotaro has given over the years, Toriyama was a real stickler for ensuring the comedic lines were perfect, so if nothing else, I'm sure this thing will be packed full of the fantastic humor we know and love him for. And given its clear throwbacks to early Dragon Ball with the return of Kid Goku and the Nyoibo, that all sounds like great fun to me. For many years, we've all joked about Toriyama's napkin notes being paraded around as groundbreaking input, but this time it seems like things are different. Almost everyone on the production unanimously says that his involvement was genuinely extraordinarily deep, and I think that adds a lot of weight to the project's legitimacy. However, writing is really not what tends to define an anime's total experience. It's actually the direction. Choices like giving Ultra Instinct a vocal theme, the rain and flashing lights as Trunks finds Gohan's deceased body, the choice to engulf Vegeta's scream in the overwhelming sound of the explosion as he sacrifices himself. All of these major creative choices spawn from the director, and they are so pivotal to a show's quality. Good writing can be presented in a boring fashion by a bad director, but a good director can take any quality of writing and elevate it to new heights. Across a lengthy TV production, each episode ends up directed by a different person, and the quality of those episodes tends to depend very heavily on who's at the helm. But anime also has a higher directorial role, a series director. They helm the entire project. They nail down every single creative element presented to them, the color design, the music direction. They oversee everyone's storyboards, making corrections where necessary to bring it in line with their vision. Dragon Ball and One Piece fans have both seen what a series director can do to overhaul a show. Tatsuya Nagamine completely 180 the look and feel of Dragon Ball Super with the Tournament of Power arc, and he did the same thing again with One Piece's Wano arc. It's a powerful role that offers huge creative control. But concerning Daima, it actually comes with 2 series directors, and they both could not be more different. The first is Yoshitaka Yashima. Huh, where do I know that name from? Oh yeah. Okay. That name might very well not mean anything to you, and I wouldn't even blame you. Yashima isn't even really a director, or I guess he wasn't? Until now, surprise! Most Dragon Ball fans would probably know him as the guy who draws entire episodes all by himself, and they always look kinda funky. No offense, Yoshitaka Yashima. But actually, over the past decade, he's been taking on the storyboard role more and more often. It's not uncommon for animators to try to move to directorial roles after dabbling in this field, but to go from animator to series director without so much as a single directorial credit under his name, it's kind of insane to me. But actually, by the sound of how things panned out, it all kind of makes sense. It turns out Yashima is actually really good at realizing Toriyama's wishes, and coming from an animation background has meant he's been able to produce assets for the staff that are completely invaluable and almost unheard of in other productions. For example, in episodes with many different viewpoints all spread out across a large region, it can be hard for staff to work out where everything is spatially based on a storyboard and script. So instead, Yashima drew out a map of the area on paper, labeling where all the characters are and what they're doing. Even for background artists, his above-average artistic skills have allowed him to sketch out environments and camera angles beyond the strengths of most directors. It's offered a clarity and mutual understanding seldom found in these kinds of animation productions. And if he happens to lack a vision for more creative aspects like lighting and musical direction, well, Daima appears to be in luck because the other series director is a woman with obscene talent and a vision that has seen her rise to the ranks over the years and become a fan favorite. And that person is Aya Komaki. Having spent 11 years on One Piece, Komaki truly came into her own on the show, directing spectacular episodes like Luffy facing up against the Three Admirals in episode 474, the Whole Cake Island musical in 875, and even the big samurai reveal in Wano in 909. Her episodes have truly stood out over the years for their stunning emotional beats, creative ideas, and iconic colors. It's landed her the role of co-series director for much of Wano, and she went on to direct all of the musical segments of One Piece Film Red, arguably the most iconic looking parts of that movie, mind you. Her eye for composition is unparalleled, and I think it's so interesting to have someone whose strengths lie in character work lead a tale that's typically put action at the forefront of the story. It all totally lines up with Toriyama's assurance that there's a lot more to this tale than kids punching one another though. Like I mentioned, the heart of Dragon Ball for me has always been in its ability to land those emotional moments between the combat. Krillin's death in Dragon Ball, Piccolo's death in Z. The emotional impact of those moments and the stellar way they're directed on the screen is a core facet and important counterpart to the combat. But hey, the action is also a great part of the show, and we know for sure that great animators like Naotoshi Shida and Sanda are on board with this project, so we're in good hands in that department either way. And interestingly, Komaki's husband is Dragon Ball veteran Kazuya Hisada, who has not been seen on this series since, check's calendar, 2008! This man was maybe the single greatest animator in all of Dragon Ball Z, and look, I know it probably won't happen. He hasn't worked on Dragon Ball in like a bajillion years, but if ever there was a chance for him to return to the series, surely it would be when his literal wife is helping helm up the show. Let me believe, okay? With all of this said, Yashima and Komaki just seem like a real powerhouse duo on paper. One with a genuine understanding of animator workflow and planning, and the other a creative force to be reckoned with. It's pretty crazy to look at who's involved in this project and suddenly start to see the all-star production Daima appears to have. The passing of Akira Toriyama caught everyone off guard, and a byproduct of that is that Daima's significance feels greater now. To the best of our knowledge at this time, this is the last Dragon Ball project to feature his major input. And it's somewhat poetic in a way that it appears to be a show very literally calling back to Dragon Ball's roots. A young Goku going off on an adventure to lands unknown to him, making friends along the way and conquering the strong guys that stand in his path. Daima's production team were already giving it their all and making great use of a dream production environment, but I'm sure they feel the pressure even more now, to deliver on the franchise creator's final creative wishes in the best way they possibly can. With everything that we've covered today, it seems like this may very well be achieved and then some. Ultimately, there is never a 100% certain way to know whether any creative endeavor will succeed or fail, but at the least, this show has every single tool, asset, creative behind it to make that success as likely as possible. Really, the only element that we don't have decades of reference for at this point is Toriyama's own contributions to this new story. But I think it
Yo, what's up? Break time.
when I say that,
Break time
I have faith in his
for, I
writing
don't know,
and his vision.
1 hour.
He is, after all, the sole creator of Dragon Ball, the anime that changed the world as well as my very life. I honestly cannot wait to share in the fantastic community energy that comes with weekly Dragon
Let's
Ball
just watch
airing in the fall. There's really nothing quite like it, so I'm excited for all
some
those
YouTube videos.
that are new fans that haven't gotten to experience it yet. And I'm sure that final episode is going to hit exceptionally hard. There's a certain scene from Dragon Ball Super that I haven't been able to get out of my head for the better part of 2 years. It was shocking, tense, and it reframed how I thought about Dragon Ball Super's future entirely. This scene that consumed my imagination was the birth of Black Frieza. Striking in form, it wasn't this dark new facade that gave me pause. It wasn't this incredible newfound strength he could wield with frightening effectiveness, or even the fact he took out both Goku and Vegeta in a single movement. What captured my imagination was everything else. What he said, how he said it, all the small choices he made narratively between these larger movements. I think you can tell so much about a story and where it's going based on the curious words and choices of key characters. And this Frieza is different somehow. Almost hinting towards something new and exciting on the horizon, something huge, and then... What followed this earth-shattering moment was little more than an expansion or recap of Dragon Ball Super's latest film, Superhero, leaving me still with the questions I've had all these years. Where did Toriyama intend for this story to go, and could we find any hints in this long series that might offer a glimpse into a possible future for Dragon Ball Super? I think we can. And more than that, it's finally time I satiate my curiosity, unearth as many hints and clues to a possible future within this long story, and present my official predictions and hopes for a Black Frieza arc.
Sa internal, hindi na, sa internal, complete natin siya, pero sa external, hindi. And aside doon, sa pagpa-follow up, for example, kay configurator, baka mag-follow up, and sa remaining documents, included na rin yung if pwede mag-follow up for
upstart Frieza managed to eradicate
pero
planet
naman po outside topics pwede natin i-include sa atin. Kanina po, may questions po ba kayo?
By now, you should know that better than anyone, don't you?
The beauty of this prediction is that it's not entirely my own. There's a character often overlooked and forgotten in the story that could hold the key to just about everything. The Oracle Fish. At the very beginning of Dragon Ball Super, the Oracle Fish's prophecy outlined an arch-rival that would appear in 39 years. But the Super Saiyan God was a prophecy Beerus introduced, not the Seer. It was Beerus, who, according to Whis, has visions which reliably amount to nothing. So, if not a Super Saiyan God, who else might have emerged after 39 years? Well, the events that kick off Resurrection F occurred just 6 short months following the events of Battle of Gods. In other words, it's entirely possible that this arch-rival Beerus awoke to meet wasn't Goku or some Super Saiyan God, but another great power that would rise up and change the course of Super's story forever. And that power I'm talking about is Frieza. Now, I know what you're thinking, this sounds insane! Goku's achievement of Super Saiyan God is really significant. Isn't Super's version of Frieza pretty much the exact same as he was? was in Z.
Absolutely fucking not.
If there's any character in Super's history that has changed a staggering amount, it's Frieza. And the greater and more gradual the change of character, the easier it is for us to see where they will ultimately end up. So what can Frieza's story tell us? Frieza, as we see him today, is unrecognizable to that which he once was. And that's not a criticism, that's a compliment. In Z, Frieza was a tyrant with a poisonous god complex. Unwavering in his worldview, he thought himself unstoppable and absolute. This was part of what made him such an interesting foil for the likes of Goku, whose worldview ran totally antithetical to that. During their legendary clash, each of them would try to nudge or move the other from their respective position, either through offers to join forces or chances to fight another day. But neither succeeded, both unwilling to compromise what they were, and in the end, both were forced into a position neither wanted. The message was crystal clear. That was fucking awesome, and yeah, Frieza couldn't change either. Blinded by his own narcissism at the forefront of the android's arc, Frieza's inability to grow from or accept his first ever loss resulted in another unexpected and this time deadly defeat at the hands of one more Super Saiyan. In the end, he was nothing more than an uncompromising psychotic madman, bitter and pathetic. Then Super happened, and everything started to change. Frieza returned, and while still viciously thirsty for vengeance, there was an immediate but quiet acceptance that he was no match for the Saiyans. And so, for the first time ever, he trained. This was gigantic for the character. Prior to this, you could tell even his minions were apprehensive to inform him of Goku and Ko's developments since his death, simply because the old Frieza would have cut them down where they stood for daring to suggest anyone could ever be superior to him. But this Frieza has learned from his past mistakes and became impossibly strong in just 4 short months. In that time, he managed to bridge the gap between he and the Saiyans to the point that he almost succeeded. But ultimately, it was that lingering vitriolic anger, that fragile and bruised ego from Namek, which remained and led him to make a severe error. Impatience. Impatience which made him little more than a fatigued sprinter trying to win a marathon. In reality, this fight was over before it even began. Fast forward a bit, and we're once again reintroduced to Frieza for the Tournament of Power. And upon hearing Goku's offer, Frieza further demonstrates adaptation and change. He accepts his current circumstances and his lack of leverage, and instead of succumbing once again to the anger that has defined his character's failures, he accepts Goku's offer to earn his life back. The old Frieza would never have been able to comprehend this offer, let alone leverage it for his own gain. Which is fitting, for that strange and vulnerable scene at the very end asks both us as viewers and indeed Frieza himself to cast our minds back, to consider the final moments of Namek one more time, and for the first time, Frieza sees and understands that moment for what it was. Genuine, honest charity. There is just so much history and natural introspection packed into that short but perfect exchange. An admission from Frieza that he was wrong and that he can genuinely trust Goku's word, and that despite being brought back to life, some of those more poisonous traits which blinded him to reality may have stayed well and truly dead forever. And this holds true for both the anime and the manga. Now, as I said, the Super anime does conclude at this point. However, Toriyama's story most definitely does not. Through 2 films and more than 60 chapters of a long manga, Dragon Ball's and Frieza's story continues and develops. In Broly, that sense of urgency and anger we saw in Resurrection F has been well and truly replaced entirely by patience, strategy, and a new appreciation for the game, as he puts it. He still wishes to usurp Goku and friends, he still wishes for revenge, but he's not going to ruin the challenge by wishing for immortality, and he's not going to throw a tantrum or his life away childishly. He's aware of what must be done. He admits that in a fight, Goku and Vegeta always seem to get the better of him, and so takes that humility one step farther by confessing that he too would like someone to fight alongside with against them. This scene from Broly and all those which preceded it in Super are what foreshadow and grant meaning to the actions and choices Frieza takes during his grand unveiling of Black Frieza. So, with all of that in mind, what can we learn from Chapter 87 with Black Frieza? With one stabbing strike, Frieza brings Gas's tragic and manipulated existence to an end. A lot of people missed this detail, but this attack was the true unveiling of his new deadly black form. And unlike Golden Frieza, where he had no regard for his own stamina, with this he chooses to use it in bursts. In a flash, so to speak. Almost like a retractable set of black claws puncturing his victim before immediately reverting back to his base, leaving everyone, including Vegeta and Goku, utterly dumbfounded, struggling to make sense of what just happened. But even in those more traditional moments, Frieza offers curious quotes like, "Why, there isn't a single thing in this universe I'm not privy to." In an instant, he exposes Elec for the coward and weakling that he is, that he has always known of his true intentions, and despite that leveraged the heaters for his force's benefit anyway. With little effort, in his base form no less, Frieza sees to the erasure of the heater leader in a blinding flash of light, and just like that, the chief enemy thought to be the strongest in the universe and his master thought to be 2 steps ahead of everyone were both overpowered and outsmarted in mere moments. And the best part is, he took his time. He achieved this new powerful form, yes, but unlike times past, where his desires to dispose of these two got in the way, he didn't run to these 2 Saiyans as soon as he achieved this new impressive form. Unique to this exchange, while he takes out both Vegeta and Goku in a single felled swoop, he does so without killing them. In fact, beyond testing out the results of his decade-long training cycle, he doesn't even toy with them like he did Elec. Instead, he relents and decides to just leave. He shows these 2 Saiyans he once would have given everything to kill by any means necessary mercy, offering them the chance to fight another day. So, now that we know that this is who modern Frieza is, where does his story and Super more broadly indicate we might be heading? Well, as I said in the beginning of this video, answering that question would have been a nightmare had it not been for the often forgotten narrative spoiler that is the Oracle Fish, praise be upon him. First, he says a rival worthy of Beerus will appear in Battle of Gods. Great! Then in the Tournament of Power, he says both Vegeta and Goku will be his strongest rivals. And then, in the Granola arc, this slippery little fella claims the balance is shifting and soon the strongest in the universe will rise up. All very foreboding, but oh so juicy in detail. So, in addition to this story with Frieza, we have this ongoing tale with Beerus and the Saiyans. And thankfully, these 2 stories are interweaving right this very second. As it stands, it seems Frieza is waiting for the right time to strike, meaning he's waiting for a version of Broly that is both under control and wants to fight with him. But there's just one small hiccup. Broly isn't under control and he doesn't want to fight with Frieza at all. So not ideal. Alright, so how do we connect these dots then? Simple. Dragon Ball Super Superhero has the answer. No, not that one. This one. As it happens, the events of Superhero canonically take place after Black Frieza's unveiling, and thankfully there are, shall we say, some new additions and changes in the manga. Ever since the Resurrection F film, the linchpin of Goku and Vegeta's training under Whis has been less flashy transformation and more efficient movement and thought during a fight. Literally 1 page following the Black Frieza chapter, Vegeta is seen pensively staring into the sky, worrying about the battles that loom ahead and his recent failures. Jiren, Moro, Gas, and now Frieza? All of these foes have gotten the better of him, and interestingly, in chapter 93 he notes that none of them are physically stronger than he. He says, "Our physical bodies have long since been honed to their limits. In that respect, our training already made us on par with them. The key difference lies in how we wield our power. There's still too much excess." I like this quote because it emphasizes that from henceforth we shouldn't think future powerful foes are superior physically, but rather more efficient and better trained mentally. This actually speaks to the improvement Frieza demonstrated following his recruitment into Universe 7 for the Tournament of Power. He was unable to train physically, but his mind was free to improve. That's honestly kind of cool, and the degree to which that worked for Frieza in that short amount of time highlights his natural aptitude for combat. Furthermore, following Superhero, the number of characters that are capable of standing up to Frieza has grown from just Goku and Vegeta to also include characters like Gohan and Piccolo, which is interesting because these were the main players who stood up to Frieza during the Namek arcs. Minus Krillin, of course, but I guess he landed Android 18, so who's the real winner here, am I right? During this material, Broly also seems to gain a greater degree of competence, both through Goku, Vegeta, and eventually Gohan's help. Now able to control his Super Saiyan state without losing his mind, it seems that Broly is well on his way to becoming Frieza's ideal partner in crime. So that takes care of half the problem. How does he figure out where Broly is, and more than that, how does he influence him? Admittedly, this is a reach, I know, but I have one potentially fun theory, and just hear me out. The very first time we ever heard from Black Frieza was in chapter 87, and during that chapter I took note of one specific line. Why there isn't a single thing in this universe I'm not privy to. This implication that he has eyes and ears all over the universe that serve him is unsettling on its own, but I do wonder if it's more than just a chilling bluff. His specification of this universe got me thinking perhaps that those eyes and ears aren't all over the universe at all, but rather in one familiar spot: Zuno. We've actually seen in the past how easily he gives into pressure from external powerful foes. How quickly do you think he might fold if Black Frieza waltzes up to him, or worse again, kidnaps him and uses him for his own bidding? If Frieza actually has Zuno, then there really isn't a single thing in this universe he isn't privy to. He isn't lying, literally. If this Zuno character has a detailed spreadsheet in his mind for Bulma's bust measurements across time, then he definitely has all the answers Frieza requires. Furthermore, it's not like it's without precedent. Dragon Ball loves to take the easy way out of corners they've written themselves into, and I think there's no more easy a way out to solve this particular problem than by Frieza just rocking up to Zuno, periodically asking, is Broly done cooking yet? I've a mighty hankering for some broccoli. Also, how do you make friends? But here's the thing, right? Even if we accept that something happens that aligns Broly with Frieza and the two duke it out as two naturally gifted individuals that had to learn how to control their temper in order to be the most effective versions of themselves, what's this story gonna be about exactly? How do you write a conclusion to a story like this that isn't just they fight the end? It also doesn't exactly help things that this modern Frieza is unlike any other villain this story has ever seen. Normally, antagonists or villains fall into one of two camps in Dragon Ball. Either they show up, get defeated, and swapped out, or once they're defeated, they join the forces of good. Both are easy to predict, but Frieza is neither. He's Dragon Ball's first ever serious recurring villain, and no, I do not count the Pilaf gang. There just isn't enough precedent or information to make a leap with. The best moments of Dragon Ball for me have been the ones that feel both like a new contribution to the canon and harken back to the moments that grant them deeper significance. Wait. Frieza's entire story and change has been informed by one singular moment in time. What if the story is about that? A climax or arc built around Frieza's ultimate plan. An arc built on the growth and lessons this character has learned across the entire series. True to Dragon Ball, it'd be an arc filled to the brim with quality fights, but with the thematic backdrop of comparing Frieza's more heinous moments to that which he is now. The most dangerous incarnation of himself, no doubt, but also possibly the most human. And while I'm not going to sit here and choreograph a complicated fight sequence between all of these characters for obvious reasons, I mean, this is primarily a video on Frieza after all, while there will be other characters, I will only be talking about those individuals during the instances that pertain specifically to Frieza and his development in this story. And so with that in mind, there is one specific scene I would love to see as a grand finale to this tale. A scene that I like to call Frieza's final death. As this video has outlined from the very beginning, Frieza's introspection, course correction, and recollections have not just offered opportunities to see his darker sides, but additionally moments of protruding light. Choosing effort, choosing to train his mind, choosing to manage his emotions, choosing to show mercy, and choosing to trust in the goodwill of others. Each of these choices and snapshots from Frieza's long history within Dragon Ball Super demonstrate a death of sorts. And no, I'm not talking about the instances where he has literally perished. I'm talking about the death of who Frieza is and the